the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, because the world needs to know.
Welcome to Say So, where we talk about it, whatever it is, because what you do not know can hurt you or someone that you know and love. So let's get to the root. For today's episode of Say So, we are going to continue in the same vein of the series entitled Beauty for Ashes. Specifically, this episode is still entitled, I Am Not My Hair. I am going to kick it off with the poem entitled Beauty for Ashes because in the first episode, I said that I would. So, Beauty for Ashes. Abba gives us beauty for ashes that runs deeper than lashes. Man sees the outer me while he sees our heart. You see? His thoughts and ways are higher than ours, far beyond meadows and flowers. They say that beauty is only skin deep, not if you're counted as one of his sheep. He loves us all the same. Every time we call his name, he gives us an ear to hear his shepherd's voice from far and near, calling out to us, calling out of us what only he has placed there. Beauty for ashes runs deeper than lashes. Treasure so uniquely divine. He carefully separates yours from mine, giving us all a measure of faith to continue to run this race. True beauty comes from within and radiates out. No need to announce your arrival with a shout. In quiet confidence shall be your strength. Beauty for ashes runs deeper than lashes. So I also wanted this episode to be somewhat educational, if you will. I wanted to share some things and just to do a brief recap. The first episode was my personal hair journey, the different products I've used, the different things, chemicals that have been applied to my hair, different ways to style it, to treat it, things of that nature. The second episode was basically talking about the struggle that I had with going from having a full head of locks to them popping off and breaking off and then going bald and completely starting at ground zero. And just talking even biblically, scripturally, why is a woman's hair her glory? What does the Bible say about it? What does it say or mean societally, I guess, when a woman cuts her hair? What does it say about her? These sorts of things. So I have graduated from natural hair school and there are some things that I learned and I want to educate my sisters about certain face types that we have. Now I have an oval shaped face, which is, as we will learn, is like the more flexible or whatever, what have you, of them all. But there are several different face types and or face shapes, right? And they have recommendations for type of hairstyles that would be ideal and type of hairstyles that may not be the best fit for the individual with a different face shape. So there are 7 different facial types and shapes. Now these cards are a little old and everything, so if you see any smudges, spots, or any discoloration, you have to excuse it. But I graduated years ago. So an oblong facial type. This is kind of what it looks like. If you know of anybody whose forehead and even their chin area is kind of square. Now, the characteristics are that their face shape is very long and narrow. It's small and they have hollow cheekbone. Now, the hairstyles that are recommended for individuals with the oblong facial type are full styles that make the face appear shorter and or wider. So if their face is long and narrow, you want it to not appear as long, right? If it's narrow, which is slim, you also want it to bring some width to it. Okay, fullness must not be overpowering. So that just means not too much hair, because too much hair on a long, slim face is going to look overpowering, overwhelming. You may not even be able to really see their facial features or what have you, because the hair is just too much. It's almost like I saw a young lady walking down the street today, and she's really slim, right? But she also has like this mermaid look. You know how they have the hair that reaches your butt or past your butt or whatever, what have you. And it was a lot of hair. So really, in essence, it made her look slimmer because she had so much hair. It looked like really big at the top, and she's already slim, and her hair is long and slim, and so it didn't really do much for her, in my opinion. It made her look more skinny, and it made her look more tall and slim, or what have you. Ladies, we can do some things to accentuate our features and make things look better, and kind of conceal things or what have you. And we can also do some things that don't accentuate or do not have benefits, and I think it's important to know and to note that. So other hairstyles for the oblong facial type is soft partial bangs or wisps of curls along the face. So basically that's taken away from the fact that it's so long and slim, because wisps is just like a little bit of bang. It's nothing really full or what have you, but just a little something up there. And it says partial bangs, so all your forehead covered of bangs. It might be a swoop or something that goes over, or like they said, little wisps, like little curls hanging down periodically. That kind of breaks up things. And also, hair and face shouldn't be very long. So it should be medium length hairs. Like I said, with the slim girl, she didn't need all that long hair to weave down her back because she was already skinny and kind of thin. Now you got all this long hair down your back. It just does not make you look more full or what have you. So your hair shouldn't be very long. It should be medium length. And you should avoid middle parts, because if you have an oblong face, that means it's pretty wide. And you don't want a middle part, because that's going to basically accentuate the fact that you have a wide face, right? Trying to be careful with what I say. Number 2 is going to be the pear-shaped face. And it kind of is like a triangle, if you will, because their forehead is usually slim and then their cheeks are bigger, so it's almost like a triangle, okay? And my son, Philip, actually has a pear-shaped face, and he has really full cheeks, should I say. Now, this is an example of someone of a pear-shaped face. Okay, so you see how his cheeks come out, and you see how here, even with his hairline is here. So it's almost like a triangle, if you will. But that's just an example of a pear-shaped face. Now, the characteristics of a pear-shaped face is that there's a narrow forehead and a wide chin or jawbone. So once again, thin here comes out here. Now, the hairstyles that are recommended are soft fringes to camouflage the small forehead with covering up the face. So fringe bang or what have you. So small bangs, and that way you won't be able to tell that the forehead is as small as it is or what have you. Kind of, like they said, camouflages it. The second hairstyle suggestion is to give balance and fullness around the crown or the top of the head. Direct attention away from the narrow forehead. So you want to balance that out. You don't want to really focus a whole lot on the fact that they have a small forehead or that it's narrow, if you will. And the third thing is that you should select styles that frame the cheekbones or are closer or behind the ears. That can minimize the look of the wide jawbone, because like I said, they might have big cheeks or wide jaws. It's bigger at the bottom than it is at the top, like a pear. So in order to kind of camouflage that, they're basically saying a bob would frame the cheekbones, right? And would be close. Or even with bobs, some people might have the bob on one side and then they might pull it behind their ear, or gel this side and then have it just cut behind their ear on one side, or do it on both sides. So that's a style recommendation. Now, a heart-shaped face, and this is a heart. So this means that, it kind of goes out and around. And at one point, I thought I had a heart-shaped face, but it's actually, because down here to me, it looks like a heart. But no, I have an oval-shaped face. So, heart-shaped face characteristics are wide forehead and a narrow chin. Now, the hairstyles that are suggested is hairstyles that minimize the width of the forehead with partial bangs or wisps. So, it's the same thing as the oblong. Partial bangs would be like something that comes over here or comes over here, not the full bang, right? Or a wisp, the curls that kind of come down. All right. So the other suggestion for hair is that the hair or braids frame the face to help fullness around the chin. So once again, it could be a braided bob that would help to frame the face, or just something that's not really long. Next, diamond facial type. And a diamond is basically like this: slim forehead and probably slim chin, and it comes out with your cheek area. Characteristics: wide across the cheekbones, narrow forehead and chin. So the hairstyles: minimize with cheekbones, create the oval appearance. So that's what you want your hairstyle to do, right? Minimize how wide you are right here, because they said it's the diamond, right? So you're wider in the cheek area. So one way to minimize that is to have your hair coming around here or framing your face in some way, shape, or form. And also full styles around the forehead and jawbone. So once again, a bob is working for everything or everybody, right? Or it can be some curls as well. From what their recommendation is, you're trying to put a lot of volume around the forehead to make it look smaller, as well as to your jawbone, because these two areas are thin. So you want to kind of add some volume around them with your hairstyles. Another suggestion is full bangs or partial to reduce the width of your forehead. So because your forehead is a little more thin, you may want to cover that up with full bangs, which means it goes completely across your head or what have you, and or partial bang. So it could be half a bang or swoop or anything like that. Also, hair or braids should be close to your head along the cheekbone. So that makes me think of a bob. You could do some stuffed twists, because those usually hang pretty close to your face as well. Micro braids, just pretty much any braids, box braids, you want it to kind of frame your face from what they're saying. Also, this is what to avoid if you have a diamond facial type. Avoid updos that move away from your cheeks and your hairline, because that's going to magnify what you're trying to kind of conceal or camouflage. So because with that shape, you're thin here or narrow here, and you're wider here, you don't want an updo, because that's going to pretty much, there's nothing covering your face, no bang or anything. There's nothing camouflaging your jawline. So it's basically what you see is what you get. And they're saying that would likely be unflattering, right? The square face. And basically the top and the bottom is pretty much the same. So you would have like a very square, wide chin area, and the top of your head is like a square. It would pretty much be about the same. So they're saying the characteristics are wide with square jawbone, as I said, and unusual straight hairline. Basically, it's the same all the way around, okay? Hairstyles. You should try full styles that frame your face and definitely around your forehead. Because if you got square-like forehead, you want to kind of do something to mix that up a little bit. You are framing hair, and you're taking away from your forehead, your temples, and your jawline to create the illusion of length and soften facial lines. That's what they say is best for you to do. Because if you got a square shaped face, it's uniquely shaped, and there are things that you want to do to take away from that look that is uniquely shaped. The last thing is wisps of hair or a tapered fringe to soften any line. So a fringe bang and or wisps of hair, just a little bit falling here, there, or whatever. They're not saying a full bang or anything like that, because that will probably be overpowering for your face or what have you. Next, round facial type. And typically you see round facial types with fuller figured women where their face is just really round, right? The characteristics of a round facial type are wide with round or oval hairline and a full round chin. Now, the suggested hairstyles are updos, which is a plus to add length to the face, to kind of pull things or pull the attention upward. Asymmetrical, showing your ears or creating slenderized look, right? So in my personal opinion, individuals with round faces look really good with short haircuts, because you have the tapered around the sides, if you have it shaved in the back or on the sides or what have you, or just not a whole lot of hair. That really accentuates and slenderizes the face, right? And if you do it in a bob, you can always put it behind your ear. You can mold a little something here and things of that nature. Now, the suggested for weaved or braided is that they have waves or full curls that will balance and frame their face. If you have roundness, you want to add some sort of, style or wavy or curly hair to it so that it kind of, balances things out or what have you. The final facial shape is oval. And they say that this one is ideal. Characteristics. And the reason it's ideal is because they say it's evenly contoured or proportional to your features. So nothing is too big. There aren't any sharp lines as to the shape of your face or what have you. And the forehead to chin is shaped or slightly wider. So your forehead is going to be slightly wider than your chin, right? It's not going to be like the picture of an oval, like where it's all the exact same size. Now, hairstyles, protective and natural hairstyles are what they suggest. So that could be locks, it could be afro puffs, it could be braids, it could be twists, it could be cornrows. Basically, those are what we consider when we think of protective styles and natural styles. When you have natural hair, braiding it down or doing something like that to it. Having a wash and go. If you have naturally curly hair, that will be excellent or what have you. One special consideration is for the eyes, nose and mouth size and shape of the individual with the oval face. And even with hairstyling, because you don't want to bang, you wearing glasses, because I wear glasses. You don't want to bang and you wearing glasses and the bang is like poking you in the eye because it's falling underneath where your glasses are, or you got all this hair covering your eye and you got on glasses you can't even really see or whatever, what have you. So it's important to consider, if you wear glasses, to consider your eyes, to consider your nose, to consider your mouth, and all of those things, how the hairstyle is going to complement those things. So within this series of Beauty for Ashes, I think it's important to just understand, like, even with all 7 of these facial shapes and things of that nature, it's important to get to a place where you can embrace who you are, what you have, what you've been given. Typically people with naturally straight hair want curly hair. People with curly hair want straight hair. Like, typically we don't necessarily always want what we have. If you got short nails, you want long nails. If you got long nails, you want short nails. If you have moles or imperfections on your skin, like freckles or something, or perceived imperfections, then you want even skin. Those who have even skin might want a mole or a beauty mark or something, or a freckle here or there, what have you. So typically we want the opposite of what we have usually. Now, there are certain features that you may really like or what have you, but I don't think anybody is 100% happy with everything about themselves, right? So it's important that we embrace what we have, what we've been given, and be grateful for it, because somebody else does not have even that. And beauty is something that evolves and something that is enhanced by certain things. It could be hairstyles, it could be accessories, it could be the way that you dress or what have you. So it's important to know and to note that. And I think just as women of God, or women in general, we just have to embrace what we've been given and play up the good things or whatever, what have you. And even like with the hairstyles, certain things you may want to kind of cover or camouflage or not accentuate or what have you. And another thing, and like when all of these fads and stuff, I talked about that in episode 1. A lot of times we get fads and wear your hair a certain way or a certain color and this, that, and the other. And that doesn't necessarily work for everybody. They gave suggestions on what to do and what not to do, what accentuates, what is overwhelming or overpowering. I want you to remember that God and only God has the final say-so about where you are now, where you have been, and where you are going. You are simply in the process of becoming who and what God created, ordained, destined, and designed you to be for His kingdom and for His glory. Until next time, miracles and blessings to you today and every day.